taking a look at this list from NFL.com. So they ranked the rookie classes from this past season. I want to take a look at some of the other rookie classes real quick. We'll start in the top 5 because, newsflash, Washington is at number 1. When you have
They should be. When your quarterback does all
exactly right. They could have bombed on the rest of the class, and they're still top because they found the franchise quarterback.
Yeah, but I think Sainristil helped that too.
100%.
And Coleman. Oh,
absolutely. We're going to dive into them in just a second. I want to look at some of these other classes that they have them ranked ahead of. Number 5 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You look at what they did. Graham Barton was their center. They drafted him in the first round. I thought he was really good. McMillan got better as the season went on. Tyke Smith was playing some of their nickelback. They drafted both those guys in the 3rd round. I think the one that really seals things here is their 4th round pick was Bucky Irving. He was really good down the stretch. So getting your starting center, getting a running back, and a couple of contributors there, that's nice. Looking at number 4, they have the Vegas Raiders. And Brock Bowers, their 1st round pick, was really, really good. Maybe the best rookie tight end season of all time. Jackson Powers Johnson, who was someone I've been interested in for Washington potentially. He's kind of a center, can play guard as well. He was good for them this season. Some of their other guys, Tommy Eichenberg, a linebacker, EB's boy, Dylan Laube was a running back they drafted in the 6th round. So they did pretty well there. 3rd, I think this also just shows you that, like, some of these classes are really good and Washington's still ahead.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Chargers. They had Joe Alt, Ladd McConkey, Junior Colson, Tarheeb Still, and Cam Hart were really, really good corners they got in the 5th round. So I think they had a good class as well. Number 2 was the Rams, and this is an interesting change-up for the LA Rams where
they went to the draft this year.
Exactly right. It used to be bleep them picks, right?
I don't know picks. We want old people.
And now they actually are drafting people, and they got Jared Verse, who looks like he could be a game wrecker for a long, long time. Braden Fisk, Blake Corum was good when he was on the field, and some other guys as well. But number 1 is your Washington Commanders, and you look through this draft class. 1st round, obviously, Jaden. Round 2, you've got Johnny Newton, Sainristil, and Ben Sinnott. Round 3, Coleman and McCaffrey. Round 5, McGee and Hampton. Javonte Jean-Baptiste in the 7th round, and Tyler Owens was a undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
I think you look at that class, and Jaden obviously spectacular. Sainristil, I don't think gets enough credit for how good he was.
He was good.
Coleman was starting for you as a rookie 3rd round lineman, and a lot of time, at left tackle. And I think you see some of these other guys like Sinnott, I need to see more of in year 2. But, he showed some flashes. Johnny Newton, I think, is going to get much better in year 2. Luke McCaffrey.
Johnny showed a lot of flashes as well.
Yeah, I'm intrigued what they're going to do with that defensive tackle position, BMitch. When you look at Johnny Newton's going to be kind of your franchise guy there now for like the long-term future. What are you doing with Allen and Payne, though?
That's the decision that they're going to have to make. I don't know if you can continue on with both of them.
Well, and so here's where I think it's interesting. When you look at the cap numbers, if you're trying to just look at it that way versus on the actual football field, John Allen, I think they could save about $10 million if they released or traded him. He's in the last year of his deal, so they could easily get some cap room if they moved on from John Allen. They'd have to do some maneuvering if they're going to move off of Daron Payne. It'd have to be like a post-June 1 trade, or they'd have to restructure or something of that nature to bring the cap hit down a little bit. Otherwise, it's a little more significant there. The thing that's interesting here for me, BMitch, when you look at that is Adam Peters has to ask the real question here. If you're going to move off of them, you don't want to weaken your team. You've got a lot of cap space already. So they have that with both those guys on the books. They could get a little bit more, but if they're not going to bring in someone that helps them and upgrades a position, then maybe you could just run it back with both those guys.
But do you think if they were to make that move, they wouldn't be thinking they're bringing somebody in?
Well, and I think they would.
Yeah, I think, listen, as we said earlier, and other people said too, if they decide to make a move and move forward, okay.
Well, and I think this could be a year that they ultimately decide to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think Daniel Jeremiah had tweeted this out. I'm not a draft expert like him, but he said last year he had 12 draftable defensive tackles. This year he's got 24. And I'm not saying that's an impact guy like in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round, but getting a guy that could fill a role like Sheldon Day did or someone like that in the 5th or 6th round, I think makes
Sheldon
some sense.
was playing a lot.
Yeah.
But see, this is the thing, like, we just have to understand that football is not the sport where you just have to worry about people's feelings all the time. Football is unapologetic. Okay, football, when they think you're good, you can do it for them. You can. When you can't, when they don't think you can, You may think you can, but they make the decision. And if they have to move on and do something, somebody else will be out there.
Year 2 for Mikey Sainristil, they're going to have to make some decisions at corner, and they're going to have to upgrade at that corner spot. Do you want to see him kicked back into nickel? Is that ideal where you go get a second corner and he's the outside guy and Mikey Sainristil goes back inside of the nickelback?
I think ultimately that's the position he was drafted for, but he played all season outside.
And he got better as the season went on.
And he got better as it went on. If you start improving on your pass rush and your pressure on the quarterback, can Mikey stay there? Yes. And you get somebody else to be the nickel guy. Or either way, if Mikey's going to be on the field, whether you go get another draft pick or you basically draft somebody else to play the inside, he stays outside.
Yeah.
Because I think overall throughout the whole season, he was your best cornerback.
Oh, 100%. No question. And the thing for me about Sainristil is you see him as a real competitor because he's not equipped, in my opinion, generally to cover a guy like Jameson Williams, right? Like that's not what you want in an ideal scenario, him matching up with him. But look at that playoff game in Detroit. And he undercuts that thing and picks it off.
It's like I think in that game, that play, he knew to play the whole time. That was a setup. Because the ball was strong. You see him just running. He didn't have to pick up speed to cut in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
He just, at the last second, says, whoop, and he said he picked it out with the one hand. With the hands, none but fingertips, former receiver.
100%, yeah.
He was a receiver until his last 2 years in college.
Well, and I think, for him, while I don't think he has, I'm trying to see, so he ran a 4.47 at the 40, which is quick enough. It's not blazer speed like some of the other guys. I don't necessarily buy into all that stuff as much, but the thing for Mikey is he's a very cerebral player.
Yeah.
And I think the more and more he gets a feel for the position and playing at this speed and playing against NFL offenses, he's going to get better. Because you think about the things where I think he excelled the most were ones where he needed to read, react, and just play with instincts.
Yeah.
Thinking about blowing up screens. Like you said, understanding the route combo there that I'm going to have to cover Jameson Williams deep and getting a head start on it. So even if he doesn't have the elite speed like some of the other guys you could get, he plays a little bit faster because he understands things because he's a very smart football player.
Yeah. That's exactly true. And the thing of it, like 4.47 is more than likely enough.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, these guys run backwards and they got to know when to flip their hips to be able to continue running. If you know how to affect a guy's route, like you're backpedaling, you go to turn, all you do is lean in front of him a little bit, just slow him down. Don't keep your hands in. Put your hands out, they're going to call you. But if you just lean into him a little bit, you watch some of the veteran cornerbacks. They're not running faster than 4.4. A lot of those veteran cornerbacks are at the 4.4, 4.45, 4.9, 4.5, stuff like that. And they just know how to slow you down. And if they play in man, they hinder the hell out of you. Quarterback gets off of you and goes somewhere else. You might beat him late, but too late now. He's already gone. And Mikey seemed to understand that as a rookie.
Yeah, he's such a smart player. I love that pick when they made it. This is a guy that played winning football at a college that was playing for national championships, right?
Yeah.
And I think you saw that. That's another thing that you brought up a little bit earlier that I think is so important is you can go get talented players, but they might not always fit.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I thought Adam Peters did a really good job of this year is no matter who he brought in, whether it was the draft or free agency, they fit.
Yeah.
And if players, when he got into the season, didn't seem to fit, those players were no longer with the team when they were playing in the NFC Championship.
He gave everybody a chance.
100%.
He gave everybody a chance. Once you answered his question, he didn't do it. You did it. When guys showed that they couldn't play how they wanted them to play, okay?
100%.
All right, we'll give you a chance to go do it somewhere else.